Hello, welcome to the queue. It is Operation MLEC 2, and it is USA, UK, and China turn 4. For our 112, we got a destroyer, 2 subs, battleship, aircraft carrier, artillery. We had $5 that we spent on tech, and we did get it. We've got 2 aircraft, 5 infantry, and there's our free one. The transport and a tank, and we saved $2. The British with 65, fighter, 2 infantry, artillery, 2 tanks, an air base, and 5 infantry, and there's our free one. And we spent 6 for the tech for Britain and got their tech as well. All right, so next up is China's not going to buy anything. We're just going to save our $8, collect our $1, and we'll have 9 for the end of that turn. All right, so USA is first, and they do have 2 combats, actually, because they're now at war. So 2 transports will come into A30, and we'll offload a tank artillery, 2 infantry into Morocco. You know what? Let's make it 3 transports, and we'll offload infantry mech as well. This transport will be non-com. Let's bring in a bombard of a battleship and a cruiser, and then we have a fighter and tactical off the carrier in A29. All right, that's the only dice rolling combat we've got. The other combat is a walk-on, and it's going to be this transport from P7. And our tech is advanced transports, so we can carry 3 units. 1, 2, 3 into the marshals, and we'll do a walk on there with 2 infantry and 2 mechs and an infantry. And that is worth no dollars on the income tracker, but it is a big bonus. So we're going to back it up with a destroyer. So if they want to come get it, it'll cost them. Hopefully. So let's roll our US dice for the attack here. That's last turns. Put all that up there. All right, so we're going to have, we got a tank. Let's put all this just in the cup. A tank. We got a cruiser bombard. We got a battleship bombard. We have a fighter. We have a paired tactical. We have an artillery with a paired infantry. And then 1, 2, 3, 3 infantry at 1. Yeah, I'm counting the mech as infantry. All right. So we just need 2 hits. We got 3. So how about that? That was barely acceptable. All right. So they have 2 infantry back. That is absolutely not what I wanted. I debated whether I should do that. We'll lose an infantry and a mech. Oh, I did not. Well, let's keep the mech. We'll lose 2 infantry. Oh my gosh, that is so not what I wanted. All right, well, we do take it, and Morocco is taken with an infantry, artillery, mech, and tank. Where's my French pile? It's way up there. All right, so that's it for combat. Let's do our landing of aircraft. So they came 1, 2, 3, 4. They will go back to Gibraltar and land there. Let's see, in the sea zone. Let's bring our other transport, and it'll just offload the 2 infantry into Gibraltar. We'll bring in also our 2 destroyers and our aircraft carrier. And our fighter here will fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and land on the aircraft carrier. All right, so that was from Eastern United States. So we've got 2 transports there. 1 transport will grab an infantry and come to A26, where it will grab from Central America. And I'm just going to reach and grab those 3 units because they're all 3 going. He grabs 2 anti-aircraft guns. And then comes here, 2, 3, and drops the infantry and 2 anti-aircraft in Morocco. All right, and then the second transport has an infantry tank and grabs the other mech and does the same thing, but it's going to drop them off into Gibraltar. All right, so that's the non-coms over here. Let's look over here at non-coms. We're going to move our fleet. Well, we got 2 fighters on midway with an airbase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where they land on the carrier. All right, so there's that. I'm going to try and line these up in rows so I can count them more efficiently. All right, so that was the carrier from piece 25. Also coming will be the 2 cruisers, the destroyer, the battleship. They will also join in P-57. We have a transport. It's going to grab 2 infantry and an artillery and follow suit, but they will get off in Queensland. Seems like that's safer there. All right, so what else? This bomber can move 7 with 2 infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into Queensland. And he will land there. All right, so this transport is going back to P7. That was that marker. The carrier, destroyer come to P25. 2 fighters will go to Hawaiian Islands. Doesn't matter if they're on the carrier or not. They reach the same distance. Because there's an air base, although I don't have the air base, but there is one there. All right, so that is it for the non-coms. So let's place some goods. Here on the East Coast will be 4 infantry, 1 transport, 1 tank, 1 fighter. And then on the West Coast, the chip is a sub, so don't let me forget that and put it under something else. And I believe this is, I'll have to count because I think I might move one of those infantry over here from the other side. All right, so 2 subs, 1 battleship, 1 carrier, 1 fighter, 2 infantry, an artillery, and a destroyer. And I should have counted this before because I can place 10 here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can. So I'm going to chip out that green chip and put the 2 infantry here. It's for a total of 3 infantry instead of 4. And then we'll put that chip under one of those infantry so that we have a full 10 there in the western United States. All right, that's how that works. USA is done. They did go up 1 to 54. I think that's where Japan was. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, US is at 54. All right, so now we've got to do some counting because we have, what, here's 55. So we saved 2, so we'll have 56 as our income. We're not going to get our 30. That was just a one-time purchase. So let me grab the sheet here. Oh, we're on Japan for some reason. Wait a minute, that's where United. No, I got to flip it over once. All right, so USA is 5. We're not in Normandy. 1 per every controlled territory. So we lost 1. So we're going to have 14. So this will be the 14. There's 2, 3, 4, 14. for the territories. And we got 10 for being neutral. So that'll be 24. And then we have ground units in Casablanca. So that's 3. That will be an additional 3. And what else do we have? We have 3 for being in the Marshalls, isn't it? I got to look, make sure. That's the only reason why I went there, Marshalls. All right. So we got an additional 3. So that'll turn that 3 into 6 for our bonuses. All right. So that makes the bonuses 10, 14, and 6 is 20, 30. So that gives us a total of 86, right? Because, yeah, 54 plus 2, 56, and 30. $86 for next turn. All right, no more tech. We're done with that. And let's move on to Britain. And they have some combats. All right, so they've got here in Algeria an infantry artillery. Fighter comes off Malta, 1, 2, 3. And we'll take a stab at those guys. Yeah, I don't want to stick my neck out with that transport. The next attack here in Transjordan, I got 2 tanks from Iran. 1, 2. The bomber will bring 2 infantry. Has 5 left. From India, we've got 2 fighters that come over. They have 2 left. So those 6 units will go in after those 4. See how that works out. We've got 4. Now let's take 3 infantry into Burma. Well, let's take 4. 4 infantry into Burma and 1 tank. Just to see if we can get that back. And then we're going to do the stupid target select with these 2 tactical bombers on this artillery in eastern Burma. So hopefully we don't pay the price like we did in Morocco. That was bad. All right, that's it for Britain, right? Yeah, just those 3 combats. All right, let's roll some dice. All right, so battle number 1. We've got 2 2s, and we've got a fighter at 3. And we're going to roll the green dice here as the Italian defense. So all at once, you got to be kidding me. The Italians win. Oh, that stinks. We didn't get a single hit. All right, so that is it for that. He's got a movement of 1 left. Ah, what a kick in the groin. All right, hopefully this next battle goes out better than that. All right, so this next battle, we do have 2 Italian dice, right, at 2, infantry artillery. Then we have a fighter at 4, tactical at 3. All right, so coming in will be 2 infantry at 1. And then we've got 2 tanks at 3. 2 fighters at 3. All right, so hopefully this goes better. All right, so I see, oh, you're kidding me, 1 hit to 2 hits. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So Italians lose an infantry, British lose 2 infantry. All right. So we'll pull our 2 1s, we'll pull 1 2 for there, and we will go again. All right, this time we got 4 hits. We could have liked to have gotten that the first time. And they got only 1. So we're going to lose a tank. Man, if we'd have got that the first time, it'd been over. We'd have just lost the 2 infantry. All right, so Germany loses 2 aircraft. And Italy loses an infantry artillery. Our tank survives, but we lost 3 units there. That's kick in the groin. The attrition is painful. Next up is Burma. So, what did I bring? 4. All right, so I should have done this better. So 4 infantry, tank, and there is 1 defending infantry for Japan. 1 hit, no hits. All right, so Burma falls. All right, so we'll take that Japanese infantry off. Now the big one. The big stupid one. We got 2 target selects on the artillery. Oh, thank you. I did not want to lose a plane to that artillery. All right, so Japan keeps East Burma, but they do lose the artillery. They will fly back to India. All right, so from we gain 1 from Japan and 1 from Italy. So Italy goes down 1, Japan goes down 1, and Britain goes up 2. All right. So these had 2 left. They will fly back to Iran. This guy had 5 left. He will continue on down here to Belgian Congo. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So this fighter here. Let's see what I need here for next turn. I guess he can land on the carrier because it's open and it's allied. So that attack failed. Sometimes attack fails. Doesn't usually happen to other people, but it happens to me frequently. All right, so now we're at non-coms. So from A19, we're going to grab an infantry and mech from London with this transport. 1, 2, 3, and we'll come into this C zone, put them in Gibraltar. And the battleship will join. And let me stack that infantry so we don't lose what that is. This fighter will come down into Gibraltar. All right, and guess where the air base is going. All right, so with that damn loss of 2 infantry, I've got 4 transports. I can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 3. But I've got 2 British transports, and I lost all my British guys. Let's take this transport here, and we'll send it back. So I bought a fighter, right? Yeah. So we'll send him back to A19, and then we'll load the 2 British that were just in Gibraltar. We will load them onto, oh, come on, one of the U.S. transports. All right. Okay, so let's see what else we're going to do here. All right, so down here in Africa, we're going to grab this artillery and come over to A54, drop it in Iraq. All the ships will come over, which is 2 transports, battleship, destroyer, cruiser. They'll probably follow. Well, I think they actually went down there last turn. I could be wrong. I don't know where that ship is. The artillery from northern Iran will walk over to Iraq. We're going to rail 2 infantry, because that's all we can, out of Belgian Congo, into Sudan. All right, next up, we are going to rail 2 infantry out of India over to Iran. Actually, we're going to rail 3. Let me take one of these guys, and we're going to rail him to Iran. 2 infantry railed to Iraq, 1 infantry railed to Iran. And we'll put that chip there. And those are in Burma. I think that's it for the British. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. All right. We're going to place fighter up here in London with the French fighter. Let's do our stuff for India, which is 4 more infantry and an artillery. In Iran will be 2 tanks and an infantry. Our free infantry for Brian 5 will go into India as well. Look, the bonus. The the airbase goes in Gibraltar. That leaves 2 infantry. I guess they'll go in Belgian Congo. Yep, I think that's the way we're going to do it. So we're going to collect the money. They're done with tech. So I put that up there. We're going to have a lot less this turn. Our bonuses are reduced. We are at 41. So let's spread out my chips. There's 30, 40, 1, and then we have 3 of those territories for 6 more. So that will be 47 for next turn for Britain. I think that's it. China is doing nothing, building nothing, collecting 1. So they will have 9 for next turn. Don't believe they'll have anywhere to place it, but we will save that for a rainy day. All right, so I think or do we just want to build 1 infantry? Yeah. So we had, what do we have? We had 8. So we're going to take 3 and buy an infantry. We'll save 5, and then we'll have 6 for next turn. And we'll place that infantry there in Queechao. Just so that 1 artillery doesn't have such good odds. All right, that's it for the UK, US, and China. You got their money. You got where their income is. Let's do a recap. And we'll start with the USA. Eastern United States, fighter, 3 infantry, tank, transport. A-29, 2 transports. Casablanca is 2 anti-aircraft, 1 infantry. Morocco, infantry, mech, tank, artillery. Gibraltar, 3 infantry, mech, tank, fighter, tactical. Sea zone off Gibraltar. I don't know what it is. It's buried. I'm not going to undig it. We've got 4 U.S. transports. Yes, 4 cruiser, battleship, 2 destroyers, carrier with a U.S. fighter and a British fighter. Moving on down here in Queensland, we got 4 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 bomber. In Sea Zone P-57, we've got 2 fighters on a carrier, 2 subs, 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, 1 battleship, 1 transport. Marshall Islands, infantry, 2 mechs. P-34 is a destroyer transport. P-25 is a carrier, destroyer, 2 fighters, and an infantry on Honolulu or Hawaiian Islands. P7 is 2 subs, carrier, battleship, destroyer, transport. Western United States, 2 AA, fighter, 3 infantry, and an artillery. All right, on to the British. We'll swing back this direction. Well, the Chinese, 2 infantry. The British in Burma, 4 infantry, tank. In India, We have, that's a stack of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19 infantry, 1 Commonwealth infantry for an even 20, 4 artillery, 2 tacticals, 1 tank. It's 4 anti-aircraft guns, 2 tacticals, tank, and an artillery. A-54, 2 transports, battleship, destroyer, cruiser. Iran, 2 fighters, 2 2 fighters, 2 infantry, 2 tanks. Iraq is 2 artillery, 2 infantry. And Transjordan is a tank. I think I'm going to split those fighters up. 1 Iraq, 1 Iran. Or do I want to put them both in Iraq? I don't really see a need to come back. I'll split them up. That's how they're going to stay. All right, Sudan. I got 2, 4, 5 infantry, anti-aircraft gun, and some Commonwealth. 3 infantry and a bomber in Belgian Congo. On the U.S. transport is 2 infantry in that Gibraltar Sea Zone, along with a destroyer, battleship transport, and then a transport there as well, or a Commonwealth destroyer. In Gibraltar is an anti-aircraft gun, infantry, mech, 2 fighters, and newly built air base. And up in London is fighter, French fighter, 2 Commonwealth infantry, 3 British infantry, 4 anti-aircraft guns. All right, that is it in a nutshell. Next up is Italy, and the Med is being infringed upon.